Hey guys, it's Tim from Cape Knights. Today I'm going to take a little time to review two products from a US-based company called Protomachines. Now, if you've been to one of my workshops before or done one of my guided night tours, you've definitely seen this. This is the Protomachines LED 2 series lighting tool. Now, I use this for almost all of my light painting, and I have to tell you that I never leave home without it. There's a new version of this called the LED 8, and that's really the one that we're going to be looking into further today. This is the Radium. This is the LED 6. I actually just picked this up within the last couple months, and I'm really excited about it because although it has some similar features, it definitely has different uses. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. But before we get too involved in these lighting tools, let's talk a little bit about what I mean when I say light painting. Light painting comes in a lot of different forms, ranging from writing with light, to drawing with sparklers, to filling in large spaces with colors. Long exposure times will allow artists to light subjects in multiple ways in just a single take. An artist that does not produce or reflect light while moving in front of the camera will not appear in the image. Light painting can animate or draw focus to a subject or add excitement to an otherwise bland environment. Given the right tools, the possibilities are limitless. A low light environment can set the stage for creativity to flourish, and you never quite know what you're going to get until the exposure completes. So back in the day, the easiest way to light paint was to take some sort of incandescent flashlight and beam that light through a colored theater gel or translucent plastic. That would allow you to get the color in the space with which you were working. But what it also meant was that you'd have to carry multiple colored gels with you and very likely multiple lights for different beam patterns and brightness levels. With the advent of LED technology, however, lighting started to change very quickly, and the advancement in LED also was moving at a phenomenal rate, which brings us to the first lighting tool that Protomachines created, the Protomachines LED 1. This was a game changer for those of us who enjoyed night photography and light painting because we were able to leave all those theater gels and flashlights at home. We now had one unit that could essentially duplicate any color in the visual spectrum at multiple brightness levels. After a fairly limited production run of the LED 1, the folks over at Protomachines decided to go back to the drawing board for a complete redesign of their next unit, the LED 2. The new design brought some important features. It was easier to hold, you could operate the unit with one hand, and it replaced the drill-style battery requirement with two 18650 batteries, making them easier to transport and charge. Now, I've owned the LED 2 since 2014. It is my go-to lighting tool. The LED 8 is the replacement. That's the one we're going to be talking about a little bit more today. It is essentially the same design with a few new features. The build quality on the LED 8 is fantastic. With both batteries installed, the weight comes in at just about 1.1 pounds, and the garden sprayer style design makes it absolutely comfortable to hold. To get started, you pop the two 18650s into the handle, latch the compartment shut, and then just give yourself a few seconds and the LED 8 will boot up. Your status screen is going to give you things like your color value, your saturation level, the amount of brightness you've chosen, and any countdown timer you have set up. Also, your battery meter, which I have found to be pretty accurate. Here you've got 4 buttons representing 8 memories for whatever color values you want to preset. You also have 2 control buttons below. The D-pad helps you navigate your options, and the button here lets you turn on off the display. The digital pad allows you to access your main settings, such as your color values, your saturation, your brightness, and your timer. The first value you'll always get will be your color value, which is a 0 to 360 scale or range. Now, you'll be able to equate what number equals what actual color when you get your hands on the unit. It's pretty easy to figure out. Left or right gives you larger increments to move through the range, or you can use up or down to really fine-tune whatever color it is you're looking to get to, which makes this light very, very customizable for that purpose. Saturation works pretty much the same way. You've got from 1 to 100%. Left-right gives you the ability to move in quicker steps. Up-down lets you fine-tune if you need to, and you can see it scrolls through pretty quickly. fine-tuning the brightness levels work exactly the same way. And because you can fine-tune this light so much, you really have the ability to use this at all different ISO levels. I've used it at its brightest at ISO 100. I've used it at its dimmest at ISO 3200, which allows you a lot of flexibility to light paint in really any ISO condition. So you've got a timer, and this would be for situations in which you want to go into a building, turn the light on, and walk away and let it shut itself off. That gives you 999 seconds of timer if you need it. So the display gives you important information. It's pretty small but easy to read, but because it's small, it just doesn't pull a lot of battery power, so you can leave it on most of the time. I mentioned that the LED 8 had some functionality over the LED 2, and I wanted to point out both of those upgraded functions here. One of the options is this white menu, and essentially it gives you the ability to transition from 2500 to 9500 Kelvin to give you the right white for your environment and camera settings. I think this would be super useful for portrait situations or just being able to project a more natural light on a subject. The second menu item I wanted to point out is something called Hue Cycle, and that is a really neat function. I'm kind of jealous that I don't have it on the LED 2. Essentially, you program the Protomachine LED 8 to cycle through its entire spectrum in a certain amount of time, and it'll just do that for you. So it makes color transitions in large spaces and light painting really, really easy. It also lets you impress your friends with your amazing LED lighting tool, because how many people have lights that can do this? You've probably noticed this really large heat sink around the front of the light. I can tell you that in regular use, where you're turning it on and shutting it off fairly frequently, you're not going to notice this thing getting hot. You're not even going to notice it getting warm. I think it might be a little bit of overkill for the unit, but better safe than sorry. I trust the designers on this. Again, nothing you need to be concerned about at any point. The LED 8 is an absolute joy to use. It's a sophisticated lighting tool and a very simple to operate package. It'll give night photographers and light painters a whole new level of creativity, and in the right hands, this LED unit is going to last the user many, many years. Besides the LED 8, Protomachines currently offers another product called the Radium. Now, this is essentially the same feature set in a different form factor, but it does add a couple different options. The LED 6, aka the Radium, comes in at 240 lumens, and at just under a half a pound when you install the single 18650 battery that it requires to operate. Now, you'll notice a lot of the same design lineage carried over from the LED 8, but this certainly is its own product. First thing you'll notice is that the screen is the same, but the LED module is completely different, and we're going to talk a little bit about what makes it different besides just the shape and size in a moment. At the base of the Radium, you will find a standard tripod thread that's been metal reinforced, and foregoing the trigger based on the design is a big red on-off button. Here you have your power and menu buttons together, and also your minus and plus selectors for within the menu. Off to the right, you have these two buttons which allow you to save a total of 4 memories. You're going to notice that the screen is pretty much identical to the LED 8, as is the menu order. You've got your color balance, your saturation, your brightness, and your timer. The other thing I want to point out is that this brings the same 2 additional features that I mentioned in the LED 8, which would be the white functionality and the Hue Cycle. Because I'm so excited about the Hue Cycle, I'm going to run through that with you. This is set to do 30 seconds of cycling, and it'll give you an opportunity to see the colors on the unit as well as the light bar itself. So this strip is a bit different than what you saw in the LED 8, and primarily the difference is in the beam pattern. So I have found that this light works out really well for smaller spaces or spaces in which you want to light something a little bit closer, like in macro photography, because you won't necessarily have the hot spot you might find on the LED 8. The plus and minus buttons just under the screen are what allow you to cycle through and fine-tune your color balance. And of course, you can do the same thing with your saturation and your brightness levels. Now, the saturation is 1 to 100%, just like on the LED 8. The brightness level on this goes in 4 stops from 1.0 to 5.0. And of course, you have your timer, and yes, you can go all the way up to 999 seconds if for some reason you thought you needed to. So I'm going to go back to the menu for the white/Kelvin option, and I did mention that this was a feature available on the LED 8. It's implemented a little bit differently here. Now on the surface, you're going to see that it pretty much looks the same in terms of the options, and that is exactly how it should look. The difference is the results. So I'm going to fire this up for you. You're going to notice that you've still got the same 2500 Kelvin to 9500 Kelvin menu option, but what you also should be noticing is that there is no flickering or strobing, which can be apparent with the LED 8. So if you're a videographer, you're somebody who's going to use this for any sort of video situation, the LED 6 Radium is going to be a much better choice. So what is the bottom line on these units? Well, to be upfront, you can't go wrong with either one of these. In fact, you might even be best served by owning both because they do have slightly different uses with that overlap that I mentioned earlier. So let's break it down based on the product. If you had to pick one, consider these things. The LED 8 is really meant for, in my opinion, large spaces like building exteriors, large building interiors, and landscapes. That's how I've been utilizing the earlier model, the LED 2, for all of these years. I think it really, really works out best in those circumstances. Yes, you can dim the light down a little bit, but the beam pattern is a little bit different, and I think it gives you more coverage at longer distances, but that's also because this is a much brighter light. Now, at the time of this video in 2019, early in the year, this unit, the LED 8, will go for $559, the unit by itself. If you want to get the kit, which includes both of the batteries you'll need, and you definitely want to get the batteries from the folks at Protomachines because not all of the 18650s are identical, and the charger, add $20 for $579. You have the whole kit. What about the Radium? Who is the Radium/LED 6 for? Well, I really think the biggest selling point on this particular unit is going to be its use for video. So many people are doing so many creative things with video right now. And yes, there are some video lights out there already that are pretty darn good. This gives you the ability to duplicate really any color you want in the spectrum, which really makes it stand out from a lot of other lights. The beam pattern is also really, really nice. You're not going to get any of that flicker. So you can use this as a fill light on your subject. You could use it to light a background. Because of the beam pattern, I do find that it's good for small space work, like a room with a flat wall, a smaller room, or some macro product work. This really does a much better job, in my opinion, than the LED 8. Now, at the time of this video, the LED 6 Radium goes for $249 for just the stick itself. Add $20 and you'll get the battery and the charger for $269. And again, you want to get the batteries from the folks at Protomachines because they know specifically which batteries are the best and safest to use with their products. All right, if you stick around, coming up at the end of this video review, I've put together a slideshow featuring ways in which I've utilized the LED 2 here on Cape Cod and out in the Southwest over the last few years. If you want to get more information on either the Radium or the LED 8 or purchase one, you can visit the website for Protomachines at protomachines.com. I've put a link to their website in the description. And if you ever find yourself on Cape Cod and you'd like to participate in a guided nighttime photography tour or workshop, you can book those and see my listings on my own website at capenightphotography.com. Thanks for watching.